I don't owe you anything physically. My name is Colton. I am 45 years old. I work in procurement for Velmar Automation, a manufacturing company in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have been married to Vanessa for 7 years. When she said those words to me, she did not raise her voice. She did not hesitate. She said it like she was reading off a grocery list. We were standing in the kitchen. I had reached for her hand, just her hand. She pulled away and gave me that look, the one that said I had crossed some invisible line I didn't even know existed. Then she said it. Cold, final. I didn't argue. I didn't push back. I just stood there while she walked out of the room like nothing had happened. That was 3 weeks ago. I kept replaying it in my head, not the words themselves, but the way she said them, like I was asking for something unreasonable, like wanting to touch my own wife was some kind of burden she shouldn't have to carry. It wasn't always like this. When we were dating, Vanessa was affectionate. She laughed at my jokes. She leaned into me when we sat together. She made me feel like I mattered. After we got married, something shifted slowly. At first, she stopped reaching for me, stopped kissing me goodnight, stopped looking at me the way she used to. I told myself it was stress, work, life. Everyone goes through rough patches. I gave her space. I gave her time. I kept waiting for things to go back to normal. They never did. Instead, the distance grew. She started sleeping in the guest room. She stopped responding when I asked about her day. She acted like I was an obligation instead of a partner. But she still expected me to show up, to pay the bills, to fix things when they broke, to be there when she needed something. I did all of it without complaint. I thought that was what marriage was supposed to be. You support each other. You work through the hard parts. You don't keep score. But that night in the kitchen, I realized something. She was keeping score. And in her version of the game, I was always the one owing. I didn't say anything to her after that conversation. I just went to bed. But I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about how long it had been since she touched me, since she smiled at me, since she acted like she even wanted me around. I didn't know what I was going to do yet. But I knew I couldn't keep living like this. Something had to change. I met Vanessa at a trade conference in Dallas. She worked in event planning. I was there representing my company. She walked up to me during a breakout session and started talking like we had known each other for years. She was confident, sharp, beautiful. We stayed in touch after that. Emails turned into phone calls. Phone calls turned into weekend trips. 6 months later, I asked her to marry me. She said yes without hesitation. The wedding was small, just our families and a few close friends. Vanessa wanted something simple. I didn't care about the details. I just wanted to be with her. The first year of marriage was good. We bought a house together, a 3-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood. Vanessa quit her job to focus on freelance work. She said she wanted more flexibility. I supported her. I always supported her. But somewhere around year 2, things started to shift. She stopped asking how my day went. Stopped cooking the meals we used to make together. Stopped planning date nights. I told myself she was busy adjusting, finding her rhythm. By year 3, the guest room became her permanent bedroom. She said she needed better sleep, that I snored too loud. I offered to see a doctor. She said it wasn't worth it. She was comfortable where she was. I tried to bring it up a few times gently. I didn't want to start a fight. I just wanted to understand what was happening. She always had an answer ready. She was tired, stressed, not in the mood. I stopped asking after a while. It felt like begging. But she never stopped expecting things from me. She still handed me her car when it needed service. Still asked me to handle the mortgage, the utilities, the repairs. Still expected me to pick up dinner when she didn't feel like cooking. Still wanted me to listen when she had a bad day. I did it all. I thought that was what a husband was supposed to do. Take care of things. Be reliable. Be steady. But I started noticing the pattern. She took everything I gave and offered nothing in return. No affection, no appreciation, no effort. I started keeping track in my head. Not on purpose. It just happened. I noticed how often she asked me for things compared to how often she gave anything back. The ratio wasn't even close. The night she said she didn't owe me anything physically, something clicked. I realized I had been playing a game I couldn't win. A game where only one person got to set the rules. I was done playing. The morning after that conversation, I woke up before Vanessa. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, stared at my phone for a while. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was just tired. Tired of feeling like I didn't matter. Tired of giving everything and getting nothing. Tired of pretending this was normal. I thought about what she said, that she didn't owe me anything physically. And I realized something. She was right. She didn't owe me intimacy. Nobody owes anyone that. But I didn't owe her anything either. I didn't owe her my time, my effort, my money, my emotional labor. I had been giving all of that freely because I thought that was what marriage meant. But she had stopped holding up her end a long time ago. So I decided to stop holding up mine. It wasn't a decision I made out of spite. It was just practical. If she was going to treat this marriage like a transaction, then I would, too. And transactions work both ways. I started that day, small changes. I didn't ask her how she slept. Didn't pour her a cup of coffee. Didn't check if she needed anything before I left for work. I just got ready and walked out the door. She didn't notice, or if she did, she didn't say anything. Over the next few days, I kept pulling back. I stopped picking up her prescriptions, stopped grabbing her favorite snacks at the store, stopped asking if she wanted to watch a movie, stopped doing the little things I used to do without thinking. She started noticing by the end of the week. "Did you forget to pick up my medication?" she asked one evening. "No," I said. "I didn't forget." She stared at me. "Then why didn't you get it?" "I figured you could handle it." She frowned. "I've been busy." "So have I." She didn't say anything after that, but I could see the confusion on her face. Like she couldn't understand why I wasn't jumping to fix things the way I usually did. I kept going. Stopped transferring money into the joint account we used for household expenses. Stopped paying for her subscriptions. Stopped covering the little extras she always expected me to take care of. She didn't say anything at first, but I knew it wouldn't take long before she realized something was different. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just done being the only one putting in effort. If she wanted to act like we were roommates instead of a married couple, then I would treat her like a roommate. And roommates split expenses. It took 2 weeks before Vanessa confronted me. I was in the garage working on my truck when she came out. Her arms were crossed. Her face was tight. "What's going on with you?" she asked. I didn't look up. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean. You've been acting different, distant, cold." I set down the wrench I was holding and turned to face her. "Cold?" "Yes, cold. You barely talk to me. You don't help with anything anymore. You're acting like I don't exist." I almost laughed. "Almost. That's funny." "What's funny?" "You're upset because I'm doing the same thing you've been doing for years." Her jaw tightened. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I said. "You told me you don't owe me anything physically, so I figured I don't owe you anything either." "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" She didn't answer. She just stood there staring at me like I had said something outrageous. You've been pulling away from me for years, I continued. No affection, no intimacy, no effort. But you still expect me to show up, to pay for everything, to take care of you, to be there when you need something. That's what a marriage is, she said. No, that's what a partnership is. And we stopped being partners a long time ago. Her face flushed. So what? You're just going to stop caring about me? I'm not stopping anything. I'm just matching your energy. That's childish. Maybe, but it's honest. She shook her head. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it took me this long. She turned and walked back into the house. I heard the door slam behind her. I didn't feel good about the conversation, but I didn't feel bad either. I just felt like I had finally said something that needed to be said. Over the next few days, she tried a different approach. She started being nicer, asking how my day went, offering to cook dinner, acting like everything was fine. But it felt forced, like she was trying to manipulate me back into my old role. I didn't fall for it. I kept my distance, kept my boundaries, kept pulling back. She didn't like it. I could see the frustration building. She would ask me to do something and I would say no. She would get upset and I would shrug it off. She would try to guilt me and I would walk away. It was exhausting, but I was done being the only one who cared. One night, she came into the living room while I was watching television. She sat down on the couch next to me. Close enough that I could feel the tension. We need to talk, she said. About what? About us. About what's happening. I turned off the television and looked at her. Okay, let's talk. She took a deep breath. I don't understand why you're doing this. Why you're being so cold. I'm not being cold. I'm just not giving more than I'm getting. But that's not how marriage works. Then how does it work? I asked. She didn't have an answer. The next morning, I logged into our bank accounts. I wanted to see exactly where our money was going. I had always managed the finances, but I had never really paid attention to the details. I just made sure the bills were paid and didn't think much about the rest. What I found made my stomach turn. Vanessa was spending more than I realized. A lot more. Monthly subscriptions I didn't know about. Spa appointments, shopping trips, dinners out with friends. All of it coming out of the joint account. I looked at the numbers again. Over the past year, she had spent nearly $40,000 on things that had nothing to do with our household. Things that only benefited her. Meanwhile, I was covering the mortgage, the utilities, the car payments, the insurance, the groceries, everything that kept our lives running. She contributed nothing. Her freelance income was inconsistent at best. Some months she made a few hundred, other months, nothing. But she never adjusted her spending. She just kept taking from the account like it was an endless supply. I sat there staring at the screen for a long time. I wasn't angry. I was just tired. Tired of being used. Tired of being taken for granted. I opened a new bank account that afternoon, a personal account, one that only had my name on it. I transferred my paycheck into it and stopped depositing money into the joint account. I also canceled the credit card she used for her personal expenses, the one tied to my account, the one I had been paying off every month without question. I didn't tell her. I just did it. 2 days later, she came storming into the house while I was making dinner. What did you do? She demanded. What are you talking about? My card. It's not working. Oh, I canceled it. Her eyes widened. You what? I canceled it. You were spending too much. You can't just cancel my card without telling me. It's my card, my account. I can do whatever I want with it. We're married. That money is ours. No, I said. That money is mine. I earned it. You've been spending it like it's yours. But it's not. You're being ridiculous. Am I? Because I looked at the numbers. You spent $40,000 last year on things that had nothing to do with this household. 40,000. She didn't say anything. You want to act like we're not partners. I continued. Fine. Then we're not sharing finances either. From now on, you pay for your own expenses. I'll cover the house, the bills, the basics. But everything else, that's on you. You can't do that. I just did. She stood there for a moment, her face red. Then she turned and walked out. I went back to making dinner. I didn't feel guilty. I felt clear. Over the next few days, she tried to access the joint account, but I had moved almost everything out of it. I left enough to cover the bills for the month, nothing more. She called me at work, sent me angry texts, demanded I put the money back. I ignored her. For the first time in years, I felt like I had control over my own life, and I wasn't giving it back. Vanessa stopped talking to me after that. She would walk past me in the house without saying a word. She ate her meals alone in her room. She acted like I didn't exist. I didn't care. I was done trying to fix things, done trying to make her happy, done giving more than I received. But I knew she was planning something. I could see it in the way she looked at me, the way she avoided eye contact, the way she spent more time on her phone than usual. I started preparing. I made copies of every financial document I could find, bank statements, tax returns, credit card bills. I saved everything to a secure cloud account. I also started documenting everything, every conversation, every expense, every time she asked me for something and I said no. I kept a record of it all. I wasn't planning to divorce her. Not yet. But I wanted to be ready in case she tried to make a move first. One night, I came home late from work. Vanessa was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open. She looked up when I walked in. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" "About this." She turned the laptop toward me. It was an email from a lawyer, a divorce attorney. I looked at the screen, then at her. "You want a divorce?" "I think it's best." I nodded slowly. "Okay." She blinked. "Okay. That's all you have to say?" "What do you want me to say?" "You clearly made up your mind." "I just think we've grown apart. We're not happy anymore. It's better if we go our separate ways." "Fine." She looked confused, like she expected me to beg, to plead, to fight for the marriage. I did none of that. "I'll call my own attorney," I said. "We can work out the details." She nodded, but I could see the uncertainty in her eyes, like she hadn't expected me to agree so easily. I called a lawyer the next day, a good one, someone who specialized in divorce cases. I explained the situation, showed him the financial records, told him everything. He looked at the numbers and nodded. "This is pretty straightforward. She contributed almost nothing financially. You have documentation of all her spending. The house is in your name. You're in a strong position." "What does that mean?" "It means you'll walk away with most of your assets. She'll get very little, especially if she's the one filing for divorce." I felt a small sense of relief, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I knew I wouldn't be taken advantage of anymore. The lawyer drew up a response to her filing. He outlined what I was willing to offer. It was fair, but it wasn't generous. Vanessa would get nothing from my retirement account, nothing from the house. She would have to cover her own legal fees, and she would have to find her own place to live within 60 days. When she received the paperwork, she called me immediately. "This is insane," she said. "You're trying to leave me with nothing." "No, I'm leaving you with exactly what you contributed, which is nothing. You can't do this." "Yes, I can. And I am." She hung up. The divorce took 4 months to finalize. Vanessa tried to fight it. She hired her own lawyer, claimed she deserved half of everything. Said she had sacrificed her career for our marriage. But the records didn't lie. She had no proof of contribution, no proof of sacrifice, just years of spending money she didn't earn. The judge sided with me. Vanessa got nothing from the house, nothing from my retirement, nothing from my savings. She walked away with her personal belongings and whatever money she had in her own account, which wasn't much. I wasn't in the courtroom when the final ruling came down. My lawyer called me afterward. "It's done," he said. "You're officially divorced." I hung up and sat in my truck for a while. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt free. Vanessa moved out 2 weeks later. She didn't say goodbye. She just packed her things and left while I was at work. I came home to an empty guest room, a few boxes in the garage, and silence. I walked through the house. It felt bigger, somehow, lighter. I didn't miss her. I missed the idea of what I thought we had, but I didn't miss the reality. A few months later, I ran into one of her friends at a coffee shop. She told me Vanessa was struggling, living in a small apartment, working 2 part-time jobs, barely making ends meet. I didn't feel sorry for her. I just felt like things had finally balanced out. Life moved forward after the divorce. I kept my job, kept my house, kept my routine. I started spending more time on myself, went to the gym, took a weekend trip to Colorado, reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with over the years. I wasn't looking for another relationship. I wasn't interested in dating. I just wanted to figure out who I was outside of a marriage that had drained me. One afternoon, I was working in the garage when my neighbor stopped by. His name was Vincent. He was retired. Spent most of his time working on classic cars. "Heard you got divorced," he said. I nodded. "Yeah, a few months ago. How are you holding up?" "Better than I expected." He smiled. "Good. You deserve better than what you had." I didn't say anything, but I appreciated the sentiment. Vincent and I started spending more time together after that, working on projects, talking about life. He didn't pry, didn't ask too many questions. He just listened when I needed to talk and left me alone when I didn't. It was the kind of friendship I had been missing for years. One day he asked me if I regretted the divorce. I thought about it for a moment, then shook my head. No. I regret staying as long as I did. He nodded. Fair enough. I realized something in that moment. I had spent years giving everything to someone who gave nothing in return. I had lost myself trying to make her happy, trying to fix something that was never going to work. But I was done with that now. Done losing myself for someone else. I was finally living for me. And that felt right.